So this is lesson number 14 in Algebra 1, Evaluation of Algebraic Expressions. An algebraic expression is a set of letters and numbers. Basically, it's like an equation with no equal sign. So we're not necessarily finding what x equals or what, like x plus 3 equals 12. That's an equation. We're trying to solve for x. But an algebraic expression, what we're trying to do here is just simplify or evaluate in this case, because we have an x, an m, and a p. And they're saying, okay, if we have x, m, and p, and x equals 4, and m equals 5, and p equals 2, what we got? We have 4 times 5 times 2, which is 40. That's all we're doing. We're evaluating it. Given these numbers to replace the variables with, we're finding out what that XMP is going to be. All right, so if we have something like 4YZ, and we subtract 5 from it, and we say that Y equals 2, and Z equals 10. So we're just going to replace the y with a 2, and again, notice I have it in parentheses. So we've got 80 minus 5 equals 75. If we have y minus z, and I tell you that y equals negative 2, and z equals negative 6, we get negative 2 minus negative 6. Two negatives here give us a positive. Signs are different, so we take the difference between the two, put the sign of the largest number on there, and we get a positive 4. Alright, so let's just keep going and doing a few more of these examples. They're not too terribly awful. Well, this one could be a little tricky if you don't watch your negatives. And we're saying that A is negative 3. And B is negative 4. So that's the case. We write this out. Negative 3 minus negative 4 minus negative 3 times negative 4. Okay, there we go. Two negatives give us a positive. Two negatives give us a positive. Two negatives give us a positive. And then this is times negative 4. So we do our multiplication first, so we go clear to the end here, and we have plus negative 12. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus negative 12. Signs are different. We take the difference between the two, put the sign of the largest number on our answer, and we're done. Okay, we're going to jump up to example 14.6. We have an x minus y. And that y is being multiplied by negative a plus x. Alright, so x is negative 2, y is 3, and a is negative 4. So let's see what we've got. Negative 2 minus 3 times negative 4, because a is negative 4, so this negative right here is right there, plus negative 2. Okay, so I notice I have a double parenthesis. I guess I could have done one of those instead of the parenthesis there, just to kind of keep things a little less confusing. Oops. So that's negative 2 minus 3, so negative 2 plus negative 3. And then we've got here two negatives, give me a positive 4. Okay, so negative 2 plus negative 3. I've got a positive and a negative, so I have opposite signs or different signs, so I'm going to take the difference between the two and put the sign of the biggest one, which is a positive, on that. Now I'm going to multiply negative 3 times 2. I don't add, I multiply first. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Signs are the same, so I add, put the sign on there, and I'm done with negative 8. So these get a little hairy as you get going, just because of all the crazy negatives. Let's see, let's go ahead and do 14.7. Negative m plus x times negative a plus mx. M is 2. X is negative 3. A is negative 4. So let's plug things in. Negative m is 2 plus negative 3. And then we've got a negative, and a is negative 4. M is 2. X is negative 3. Okay, so again, notice this negative here is right here. The a is negative 4. We don't replace this thing. This is just on its own. We're replacing a with negative 4. That's why I put it in parentheses. So negative 2 plus negative 3, signs are different. Take the difference, put the sign of the biggest one. 2 negatives here give me a positive 4. Negative and a positive give me a negative 6. So now I can add these. Difference between those two is 2 with a negative. This is going to be a positive 1 because 2 negatives give me a positive. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. All right, brings us to our last example for lesson 4. Last one is negative x times a. Multiply that by x minus a plus a. And we're going to say that a equals negative 2, and we're going to say that x equals 4. Okay, so negative, and then we're putting 4 in for x. A is negative 2. Now we're going to take x and put 4, and we're going to put a minus negative 2. Let's see if I can get this to work. Come on. Plus negative 2. So this is going to be a negative times 4 right here gives me a negative 4 times negative 2. And let's put these together. 2 negatives give me a positive. 4 plus 2 is 6. Multiply all these. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. 8 times 6 is 48. Signs are different, so I'm going to take the difference, put the sign of the largest number on my answer, and get 46. So that is problem set 14. Again, it's just practicing and practicing and practicing in order to get these down.